Reindeer. Reindeer is an ancient Norse word coming from Reindeer, which is derived from Rein, standing for a reindeer, and Dire, meaning animal. It is believed that in folk etymology, this word describes a horned animal. Reindeer and caribou are the same genus and species of Rangifer tarandus. So, why are they called two different names? It appears that in North America, the word reindeer describes the domesticated form, whereas caribou is typically reserved for the wild populations. In Europe, these animals are called reindeer, regardless if they are farmed or in the wild. They belong to the deer family called Cervidae, which includes 55 species, such as deer, elk, moose, and wapiti that are found around the world, except for sub-Saharan Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. All of these species are herbivores and can be found in habitats including forests, grasslands, mountains, and on the tundra. Their homeland can be as big as 500 square kilometers or 190 square miles. Subspecies of caribou, such as the woodland caribou, Rangifer tarandus caribou, can be found as far south as 46 degrees north latitude, northern USA. The Peary caribou subspecies and Sval reindeer, Rangifer tarandus patyrhynchus subspecies, can both exist as far north as 80 degrees north latitude, which crosses through Greenland, Svalbard, and other northerly regions. Their diet can include herbs, ferns, mosses, grasses, shoots, fungi, and leaves. They are also ruminants, meaning that they have a unique digestive system. Their stomachs are equipped with 4 compartments called rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. So how does it work? The animal chews their food, swallows it, regurgitates it, then swallows it again. When food reaches its first chamber, the bacteria which is in it helps to break down plant matter. These animals can acquire nutrients from food by fermenting it prior to digestion. This system gives them advantages in better use of energy from fibrous plant material than other herbivores. An adult reindeer consumes around 9 to 18 pounds or 4 to 8 kilograms of vegetation a day. Finding food in the winter is more difficult, but having ultraviolet vision makes it easier. Reindeer dig through even 60 centimeters or 2 feet layers of snow using their antlers. They eat certain types of lichen that help them to keep warm and survive icy winters. Sometimes temperatures can drop down to minus 50 degrees Celsius or minus 122 degrees Fahrenheit in the winter, to plus 40 degrees Celsius or plus 104 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. These animals are able to make adjustments in their bodies. For example, when temperatures become very cold, they have the ability to lower the temperature in their legs to near freezing level and keep their core body parts warm. During winter months, they grow their facial hair long enough to cover their mouths, protecting their muzzles from the snow. They have 2 layers of the coat, an ultrafine and dense underfur and a shaggy outer layer. The outer hairs are hollow and provide insulation, like the fur of a polar bear. In the spring, reindeer molt their winter coat. Until they grow their fine summer coat, they look rather mottled. Reindeer have all typical characteristics of their family, such as long heads, short tails, long legs with large feet that have 2 toes and 2 dew claws on each of their hooved feet, and antlers. When reindeer walk, they spread the body weight to provide grip in the snow and icy conditions. A clicking sound can be heard due to the tendons in their feet joints. This clicking helps herds stay together in low visibility. Reindeer are strong and fast runners. Even a 6 to 10 kilogram calf can outrun a man easily. It is believed that reindeer are more efficient than most other land mammals. The Finnish forest reindeer are the largest. An adult male is usually larger and measures approximately 2 meters or 6.5 feet in length from snout to tail, and can weigh around 150 to 250 kilograms, or 330 to 551 pounds, whereas an adult female can weigh around 100 kilograms, or 220 pounds. A male reindeer from other parts of the world grows to around 0.7 to 1.35 meters, or 2.3 to 4.4 feet tall from hooves to shoulder, and around 5.9 to 6.8 feet, or 1.8 to 2.1 meters in length. Male's weight can reach between 65 to 240 kilograms, or 140 to 529 pounds. Female's length is around 1.7 to 1.9 meters, or 5.5 to 6.2 feet. Their weight varies between 55 to 140 kilograms, or 121 to 308 pounds. Their tail is short, at about 10 to 15 centimeters, or nearly 4 to 6 inches long. Reindeer are the only deer species in which males and females grow antlers, and the only mammals with antlers that regenerate. Their antlers are the largest and heaviest of all living deer species when compared to their body size. A male's antlers can grow up to 51 inches, or 130 centimeters long, whereas a female's antlers can reach 20 inches, which is about 50 centimeters in length. With various sizes comes significant difference in the weight of the antlers. A male's antlers can weigh up to 15 kilograms, or 33 pounds. A female's antlers can reach about 6 kilograms, or 13 pounds. The antlers fall off, but grow back larger each year. The shedding starts at different times for both sexes. Adult males drop their antlers in November, while adult females keep their antlers until spring, during calving season in May, which helps them compete fairly for food. Male reindeer begin to grow antlers in February, and female reindeer in May, but both finish growing their antlers at the same time. Each antler grows from a stub called a pedicle on the front of the skull. They're made of solid bone and covered by a living furry skin called velvet, which can grow up to 2 centimeters or 3/4 of an inch in a day. The antlers are equipped with blood vessels that provide oxygen to the growing bone. The rutting season starts in August to September, and it lasts until October to November. The antlers stop growing and the velvet is lost, which makes the antlers hardened. During this time, males collect their own harems. They are very jealous about their females. The antlers show dominance and hierarchy in the herd, and the males will defend their females. They would go into fights, and clashing antlers is their way to strengthen and defend their position and attract females. Only the biggest, strongest, and most energetic males will win mating competitions. Gestation for the female reindeer lasts for about 7.5 months. They usually give birth to only one young at a time, although occasionally they have been found to have up to 4 babies at a time, but their survival is very rare. A male calf reindeer is born on average around 2 days later than a female. Reindeers calve in peaceful places and are very sensitive to disturbances. Calving is usually fairly easy for reindeer, and it lasts around 20 to 30 minutes. A week or 2 after the calving, the females drop their antlers. Reindeer calves are well developed when they are born. Their fur insulates well, and after a month, the baby fur starts to change, and by autumn, it is the same as the one of the adult form. At birth, a newborn reindeer weighs about 4 to 6 kilograms, or 8.5 to 13 pounds. Calves will get up and stand after their first hour of life. They are totally dependent on their mother for food. Reindeer milk is very nourishing, and a baby needs 3 to 4 liters of milk per 1 kilo of weight. Therefore, the calves can increase weight quickly, around 500 grams per day. The suckling lasts only a few seconds at a time. Within a week, they start eating solid food as an addition to their mother's milk. Within a month, the birth weight doubles. The calves grow brown fat around the internal organs, and it is around 1 to 2% of the total weight. It improves the calf's ability to cope with the cold. This fat disappears within 3 to 4 weeks. Reindeer calves are born without the antlers, but within 6 months start growing their first set to be fully grown around their second birthday. The young will stay with its mother for approximately 1 year, suckling for 3 to 4 months. This maternal bond will be broken before the next breeding season. Reindeers become mature at 4 to 6 years old. Their lifespan is about 15 years. Females tend to live for longer. Males are much more prone to predation after the mating season. Therefore, they only have an average life expectancy in the wild of 4 to 5 years. Reindeer are very social creatures and feed, travel and rest in groups called herds. A herd can be made by 10 to a few hundred animals. However, in the spring, more individuals can join the herd and grow it to as much as 50 to 500,000 members. During cold winters, the herds often travel south up to 1,600 miles. Some travel even further, up to 5,000 kilometers or 3,000 miles to find food in the winter. There are currently around 3.5 million caribou in North America, around 1 million wild reindeer in Eurasia, and around 3 million domestic reindeer in North Europe, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica. It is believed that they appeared in Europe about 16,000 years ago, where they were once abundant. They probably had been domesticated around 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. Having been domesticated since the Bronze Age, the reindeer has proven itself as an invaluable asset time and time again. It is assumed that the reindeer was one of the first domesticated animals. Primitive humans relied heavily on them for their skins to keep them warm. They dressed head to toe in reindeer skin. They ate meat as their main food and used bones to create tools. Even these days, reindeer are part of lives of various indigenous people who mainly live close to the North Pole. Since ancient times, communities like the Sami from North Europe, living in Sapmi, which today includes northern parts of Sweden, Norway, Finland, and the Kola Peninsula in Russia, lived alongside reindeer. They have created approximately 400 words to describe food, tools, and other products of parts taken from reindeer. The Evenks of northern Siberia, the Chukchi, from most of the northeastern Chukotka district, are part of Siberia. The Nenets, that occupy northwestern Russia, spreading from the White Sea on the west to the base of the Taimyr Peninsula on the east, and from the Cyan Mountains on the south to the Arctic Ocean on the north. Let's not forget about the Khanty community, who are an Ugric indigenous people living in Khanty-Mansai Autonomous District, a region historically known as Yugra in Russia, together with the Mansai. Reindeer were introduced to Alaska by Sheldon Jackson, an Alaskan missionary who wanted to help starving Inuit communities. The mid-1800s were difficult for these indigenous peoples due to the commercial overfishing of whales, their main source of food for whale oil. Jackson came up with the idea of finding an alternative food source for this group. Jackson turned to reindeer herding and husbandry. Thanks to his lobbying, the United States government agreed to funds and support of launching the project. Firstly Siberians, and later, in 1898, as many as 100 Sami reindeer herders, their families, and nearly 600 reindeer moved from the north of Norway to Alaska of the United States. In Canada, caribou were hunted by Inuit from kayaks with spears. The Inuits inhabited the Arctic and subarctic regions of Greenland, Labrador, Quebec, Nunavut, the Northwest Territories, and Alaska. Most parts of the caribou are eaten, providing the Inuit with the rich source of nutrients needed to maintain their health. Reindeer have been a major part of all these communities' lives, diet and culture for many generations. These species were and still are very important for their agriculture and for supporting the livelihoods of the indigenous peoples. These animals' antlers in many cultures are considered as highly effective natural remedies. And now, let us talk about the most famous of all reindeer, the assistants and steeds of old Santa Claus. The origins of Father Christmas are rather convoluted. Some say he is a standover of the pagan mythological characters who were then integrated into Christian customs, so that these converts could retain some of their cultural icons. Some say that Santa is based on St. Nicholas of Myra and Sinterklaas of Dutch lore, who originally conveyed on white steeds. Yet in many regions of the Northern Hemisphere, Santa travels the skies on Christmas Eve, rewarding good children with presents. He comes down the chimney of each home with his magic, and leaves presents under the Yule tree. Reindeer had previously been culturally viewed as representing traits such as creativity, resourcefulness, and wisdom, but also safe travel and hardiness over long journeys. It was thought that they could bring a traveler home safely. So this is the root of the reason why they are so connected with Santa. For it is imperative to all children that he gets home to create and then distribute gifts in the years to come. The modern representation of Santa comes from a satirical work by Washington Irving. It was published in the Knickerbocker's History of New York, published in 1809. But it did not include the reindeer we have come to love so much. A later poem called A Visit from St. Nicholas, as released in 1823, but you may know it better as A Night Before Christmas. In this poem, the imagery of Santa having reindeer pull his sleigh through the air and park on snow-covered rooftops was given to the world. The poem features 8 flying reindeer pulling Santa's sleigh, and, for the first time, they are identified by name. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, and Cupid. Dunder, then Donder, meaning thunder, and Blixen, becoming Blitzen, meaning lightning. But in the 20th century, Donder was changed to be Donner. Although a cultural touchstone for years, it was brought further into the mainstream and its iconography completed when a marketeer called Carl Lohman worked with Macy's in 1926. They had the first promotional Christmas parade, which showed the modern vision of Santa and his reindeer and sleigh. With cunning letter placements in local papers from children asking for Santa to visit them. The event was such a success that it was soon copied across the length and breadth of the United States and then beyond. And that most famous of all of the reindeer, Rudolph, did not arrive until 1939. In that year, he starred in a coloring book written by Robert L. May and published by Montgomery Ward, and they were passed out to children that year while shopping. In this famous story, Rudolph is the odd one out. But what made him different also made him useful because, in the story, he saves Christmas. And it has struck a chord with children ever since. For Rudolph is the archetypal outsider, but comes in to save Christmas because of his unique abilities. From pariah to proverbial hero on this, the most important night of the year. With songs, shows, and even films released about this lovable character, we hope Rudolph leads the reindeer of Santa for years to come. Rudolph's red nose actually has a tiny bit of its root in the biology of the reindeer. for they have a quarter more blood vessels in their nose. It allows them to regulate their heat when running. Hence, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. From Historosaurus and the narrator, Mr. B, we hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a happy, healthy and prosperous New Year. Merry Christmas, one and all.